Better babes, gird your loins. We have one of our most gorgeous, hilarious, relevant guests of all time ever, host of Las Culturistas, Matt Rogers. Welcome to Getting Better. How are you, honey?
Put relevant on my tombstone.
You are
relevant is a great word to be described as.
You are scintillatingly relevant.
It's getting better and better in terms of words.
Matt, you're well, first of all, how are you? How is your pride?
I am so good. I'm newly a New York resident again, like a New York City resident now. And it's making me feel very powerful and like happy and, you know, energetic and energized for the first time in a while.
Does that mean that Alicia Keys and Taylor Swift are on your playlist a lot right now?
You know what? Okay, so this is the truth about Alicia Keys. I'm assuming you're talking about in New York.
Yeah, of course.
So I used to work for New York City Tourism. I worked on a big bus called The Ride. Have you ever seen this monstrosity?
Yes.
So it drives around
the
Times
two-decker?
Square. It's like with the stadium seating.
Oh, yeah.
So I used to be a host on that bus, or my other job was I was a singer in front of Carnegie Hall. The bus would pull up and stop, and like I'd be walking with a backpack, and I'd be like, hey, it's a bus full of tourists. And then I would be mic'd, and I would sing with a saxophone player.
Oh my God.
And the song was New York State of Mind, or Alicia Keys' song. And so I can never hear it again.
Yeah, you can't do it.
Because every day for like months, I was like, in New York, like giving like that. So I can't. But Welcome to New York by Taylor, always and forever.
What a gorgeous singer. Does
Not
everyone
bad.
just know that you're a singer?
You know, I've been recording artist. I've released the full album.
Oh, yeah, so they do.
Some people know.
We're gonna edit that right out.
I think, no. Please leave that in because the reality is we want more people to know.
Okay, yeah, so, well,
You know, my mom is a hairdresser.
what?
Yes, I grew up, my mom's a Long Island hairdresser. We had a little salon in our house.
Bury the fucking lead. So what was that like?
Everything. I think it got me to be a good conversationalist because I just heard my mom essentially being a therapist for these women my entire childhood. And, you know, the way that she was such a good listener and like got people to feel really comfortable in the chair, and they always left feeling so gorgeous. Like it was like a big part of like my culture growing up was hairstylist culture. My mom worked at a place called Ecstasia on Long Island. You want to know the biggest?
Who was Ecstasia?
We never found out.
Wow.
It's the great unsolved mystery of who is Ecstasia.
It's like Anastasia, but Ecstasia, which is amazing.
This was like cuntier than that.
Yeah, way country. You're so right.
So this is the drama that happened at the salon. And my mom came home shattered because the nail girl, Bernadette, had invited everyone to her wedding except my mother, Katrina. So Bernadette, the nail girl, you're on notice.
Bernadette.
And I've said on multiple podcasts, and this is 20 years later, if I ever find this woman, it's on site for not inviting Katrina, the colorist, to the wedding.
It's so fucking mean, girl.
It's crazy.
This woman fucked my mom over in like 1978.
You haven't forgotten it.
Well, she died of cancer in the mid-90s. And I've always thought like, well,
This is why you don't fuck around.
Shouldn't have fucked my mom over.
Because you find out.
You know what's crazy? That lady's come up like 3 times for me in casual conversations like
thing.
this week.
You want to know why? It's because there's a reason a season in a lifetime. And this person is coming back for a reason.
Yeah,
it's your unfinished business.
Don't come for my mom.
No, that's the thing is it's like little like queer kids and their moms. It's a thing. Like I remember feeling when I was little, I was so attached to my mother. I was always a mama's boy. Whenever she'd go in the car to run an errand, I would say, I have to come. Because I knew in my heart that if I was in the car, there couldn't be a car accident.
I used to get so scared that something was going to happen to my mom.
Literally all the time.
All the time. That's so cute of us.
I never forget, they got dressed up one day. They got the babysitter to come over. My parents got dressed up nice to go to like, they said they were seeing Titanic. Now I'm thinking about it. They probably went to dinner and fucked. And they knew that saying Titanic was, that gave them a long excuse because it was so long. But I literally was like, do not, because I think I had death on the brain because of Titanic. I was like, you guys look amazing. Like, you're going to die in the car on the way to Titanic if you go. Like, kid, don't. Screaming, crying, throwing myself on the ground. They were like, we're going to go. Like, probably so horned up, like ready to fuck. They came back and I was like, well, how was the movie? So happy to see them there. They were like, it was really sad. It was sad. They definitely fucked. I'm doing that in math now. But the story is I was upset that they were leaving because they looked so gorgeous, too gorgeous to live.
It's very like Jumanji, like
very that.
Yes.
Oh my God. I'm so happy you brought that up.
Because that was like no, they were always like killing your like attractive parents.
No, 100%.
Growing up. Like all these kids.
That was That was my favorite movie.
Yeah, and like Harry Potter. I mean, she's rude, but that also like, you know, that was like really traumatizing for like an 11-year-old me.
100%.
That fucking woman's been traumatizing me since 1999, and she needs to cut it
relentless.
out.
You know what? Here's my thing. So I was just at Epic Universe, and of course they have all the Harry Potter stuff because like that's just it is what it is. And I said to myself, like, I had a really hard time because I was like, am I going in here? Like, am I doing this? And then I was like, you know what? She can't take that. We can't allow her to take that.
Well,
like,
it just does piss me off that she's like so rich and then claiming to be canceled as we're like literally like lining her mansions. Like it's like that pisses me off.
Here's what Bowen always says. And like, I really think that there's something to this. It's like she wrote a book which essentially those books had like a moral superiority. You know what I mean? Because they were like, and it was black and white. There was good and evil.
Oh, that's so true.
It was really like a tale about doing the right thing, like believing in real heroes, like sticking up for the little guy, like treating people the same even if they're different, etc. So I think she got so convinced of her own morality. And again, this is Bowen Yang that brought this to light for me,
not me.
But I do think it's true. She gets so convinced of her own morality that you can't tell her anything about it. So now that she's got to this place where it's like, my womanhood is something that I celebrate. It's part of the reason why I am who I am. Like, and they tried to take things from me forever. I even used what was sounding like a male pseudonym so that I could sell my book. Like, when she finally gets to this place of women being under attack, which is what she genuinely believes, you can't tell her she's wrong because we've actually told her she's right to the tune of billions of dollars.
Yes.
So that's what it is. It's a warping of her mind that results in her being now immovable and transphobic.
I haven't asked you one question that was like on the thing that I was going to talk to you about yet, which is really fun.
Can I tell you something? This always happens with me. And don't you prefer it this way?
Yeah, much better. Yeah, I have like combined ADHD, so that's just what it is.
We see each other.
So for like just maybe the people who are like, obviously this episode, like the first bit was just like letting ADHD like shine and like being, no, don't apologize. Like we're just being who we are. It's pride. We are not apologizing for we are never apologizing.
You're right,
okay?
yeah.
We're not. That's not what our truth is. But for anyone who's just like culturally uninformed, I think really what this episode is about is like, how can we like culture better? Like, how can we like get more into like our culturality and like understand like pop culture around us, you know? And we also want to know you better. So that's like the themes. So can you just tell us like, Las Culturistas, can you just like give us like origin story?
Yeah.
I know people like are like asking you this all the time, but like give us origin story. Like you're minding your own business, and then Bowen was there, and then what happened?
So basically, Bowen and I have been very close friends since we were 19 and best friends since we were like 22, 23. So we met when we were at NYU. I was in the sketch comedy group and he was in the improv group.
And I was like, what, 06?
College in 2012. So this was 09. We were in the groups together and basically we were the only two gays. And so the other members of the groups were like, you know, sort of like, you two should be friends, you know, do it.
You're
like, and we were like, okay, I mean, I don't think that people just become friends because they're gay. And then very quickly we found out like that actually could happen. We became really close. We loved all the same music. We had a lot of the same cultural references, like, you know, which are pretty millennial and gay, you know, but nonetheless, like we had like a very similar vocabulary and energy around the things that we liked. And we really also spoke a twin language. I always feel like Bowen is my twin that was born on a different day in a different part of the world, but like we'll often like make the same sounds and reactions to things. We have a little bit of like comedic osmosis. And I just thought, oh, this is something really special, and people started to notice it as well. Like when we were together, there was just like a little bit of an energy. And so we were doing like independent sketch comedy together after college, and he actually was he was approached by this production company called Forever Dog to start a podcast. And he came to me and was like, would you want to do it with me? I don't want to do it by myself. And so we went and we just started Las Culturistas, which was the stupid name.
And what year was that?
This was 2016. So we started the podcast in March 2016. And, you know, we almost didn't do it because I was like, aren't podcasts done? Like, I feel like, are we going to start a podcast now? That feels a little lame. Thank God we did. And I didn't realize it would become what it became because we didn't start with like a big conglomerate or anything, you know, it was just us and no word of mouth. For the first like 6 months of it, 60 people listened to an episode. We thought that was amazing.
Yes.
And then we started doing a live show and we realized the fan community was a little bit larger and maybe even more into it than we thought. And so suddenly we didn't realize it, but this friendship that we had that felt very easy and unbothered because we just didn't think anyone was listening sort of connected with people. And we would just talk with our guests about the culture that made them say culture was for them. And when I say that, I mean, what was the pop culture that you as a young person can remember starting to turn you into who you are? So, you know, for example, for Bowen and I, one thing that we connected on was like our really real love of Celine Dion. So us being, you know, 7 years old, 8 years old when Titanic came out, him being from Montreal, you know, me always wanting to sing and stuff. Like I was obsessed with American Idol. We loved these like pop divas and these like adult contemporary women from like a young age. And that was just something that bled into so many other things because she at the time was monoculture, meaning like culture that everyone knew. She was attached to Titanic. Then it was the Oscars. It was Celine Dion. So it was a really perfect time for little gay boys to like latch onto something and then launch into all these other things. So Bowen and I found that was true. And that energy, I think, of talking about things that you love is contagious. And so that really was the jumping off point for being able to book guests. And the podcast grew and grew and grew to the point where it's now 9.5 years later. I can't believe the guests that we book. I mean, we've had Lady Gaga, Mariah Carey, Kelly Clarkson,
Ariana,
Tina Fey, Ariana, Cynthia, especially now getting these people in some of these big moments. You know what I mean? Like we actually were the first interview that Charlie XCX did for Brat.
Oh my God.
And this was before she knew it was going to become what it was going to become. Like, and it's not just pop girlies either. We had Mike Birbiglia on last week, you know what I mean? Like we've had Will Ferrell as our producer. So what it's become, and we had the amazing author and artist Tourmaline on to discuss her book about Marsha P. Johnson. So I think now with the podcast, I just want, when we say culture, I just want you to listen to Las Culch and it to be a surprise and to be something different. Sometimes you're going to get, you know, just so happens to be one of the biggest stars in the world talking about their new thing. Sometimes you'll have an author talking about an important new book. Sometimes it'll just be me and Bowen being stoned, shooting the shit, being stupid. You know, we have these stupid lists we come out with that mean nothing. We're just truly in the business of following the fun of our relationship and speaking to what we think in that moment might be good and useful and fun for our audience. So that's what the podcast is. That's the culture of Las Culch, I guess.
I love it so much. I also, like, we've been in the podcast game for a long time, like getting curious.
Yeah, we're like dinosaurs now.
Yes. I started getting curious in 2015 and then we just like did our little like rebrand. But yeah, I'm really proud of us because it's like one thing I've been thinking about in podcasting, I feel like people in podcasting don't really talk about is like, there is a lot of turnover that's like kind of quiet.
Oh yeah.
Like podcasts that just kind of like die out, go away. You don't think about it. You don't know about it. And it's like, I think both in like writing, publishing, like there's just certain industries where it's like, if you just have to be so all in and like aware of it. And there's just so many things you just like wouldn't know, which I just think is interesting in sidebar.
Yeah.
I have to tell you a Celine Dion thing.
Say.
When my mom got remarried to my stepdad, in 1996, I Up Close and Personal had just come out. So you were my strength when I was
weak. So I thought you were saying Up Close and Personal had just come out. Like you got in your mom's face and were like, I'm gay.
No.
I thought you were saying Up Close and Personal. You came out.
No, the Robert Redford, Michelle Pfeiffer, Up Close and Personal.
Okay, good gag.
So I was like, Mom, I have to perform that song at the reception with the live band. You know, her remarriage was really hard for me. I was like not that excited about, like, I ended up loving my stepdad, but I was like really pissed off at first. You know, he like tried to invite himself to like Stars on Ice with us.
You owe me low
He was
key.
like, yeah, he was like really encroaching like on my shit, you know?
Got it.
So yeah, like he like didn't let me sleep in my mom's room anymore. So I was like really pissed. You know, I was not loving it
So much
first.
was changing.
So I was like, you better let me sing at this reception. So I blew off the rehearsal because with these vocals and like musical talent, like who rehearses? Not this girl.
Barely needed it.
So I go up to the front of the reception, which is like a good 250 people. It's 1996. And the band behind me starts to play just like a beat, just a beat. Like it's not
what you need.
It's not up close. It's not, what is the name of that song?
Because you love
because you love it. Thank you. It is not like I was in my mind thinking it was going to be like a karaoke version or something like the actual like music, but it was just like so I'm like looking at, there's like all these people and I'm like, no, this isn't like what I thought. Sweat starts like pouring out of me. But I sang it. I sang the whole fucking thing. I do think I cut off a few paragraphs and it kind of went from like beginning to end a little bit quick, but I was like, but there was definitely feel like, because you have me, like it was, I mean, I went there.
Listen, the thing is,
and I was 9.
People needed it.
They did, but it was, I'm sweating just thinking about that story. It was really, it's like, when did you know your kid was
but
gay?
Aren't those
it's like
the best stories though? Like when you look back and you're like, oh wow, that was a totally unself-conscious time when I went for it. Like my mom just dug up some photos of me at a talent show when I was, I think 10. It was 10 or 11 because it was 10, 11, 12. It was the summer that American Idol had just started. So I was very like, I'm a performer now. So it's just me in like a navy tank top and athletic shorts doing Backstreet Boys Larger Than Life, but really giving.
Yes.
And you can tell the extent to which I was giving in the photos. And I was like, this moment is really important, and I'm happy that there was at least a time when I fucking went for it.
Yes.
That's who I really am.
Yes. In this era, what is like really coming to my mind is like those Nerf baseball bats that were like half bat, but like half filled with water. Do you remember those?
Sure. And when you hit the ball, it exploded.
I don't know about that because I only use mine as like a twirling baton and prop for like dances. Like mine, I really utilize them for like beautiful, beautiful dances where I would try to like color guard, like, like throw, catch, like, and I had a really beautiful choreographed dance to Desiree, You Gotta Be, with like a Nerf water bat where I took one of my mom's scarves and like tied it around my waist because I thought that made me feel like Christy Yamaguchi. And then,
girl, right there.
And my grandma watched it, but like my grandpa wouldn't come, and she was like, I hope you grow warts on your ass. Come and watch this dance right now.
Exactly.
But he wouldn't watch it.
No.
But it was stunning and prolific, and that was his loss.
Honestly, you look back and it's like you remember the reactions of your parents and their friends, and it's like they start to make more sense now. It's like, oh, they didn't want to watch it not because they wanted to do something else. It's because like they were like, we're seeing into a window into true honesty and his real spirit right now, and I don't know if we're really ready to call it what it is.
I feel like my grandpa really did just want to watch fucking football, like, 'cause he was just, like, lazy.
Probably true as well.
My mom and brother, I would like literally write cards with like artistic impression and technical merit and like make them score like I was like really unhinged. But back to Las Culch. Who like what of like, this is like a random cue, but like has there ever been like a guest where you were like, what was your favorite thing like growing up, and there was just like the most random answer that you did not see coming?
Kind of all the time. I mean, it's really funny like how people interpret the question. Like a lot of people are like, oh, I can say it was this movie. Like we just had, like I said, we had Mike Birbiglia on, and he said Jerry Maguire, which I never really saw coming for him. But then like other people, like they'll really dive deep into like the environment where they grew up. So sometimes it's not even just interesting what they say, it's what they think of as being a defining thing about themselves. It's really interesting.
Do you feel like as you've gotten like just more recognizable and the stakes get higher, like is it harder for you and Bowen to just like, I feel like I just am so much more measured, because like when you have more opportunities and you have like more people breathing down your neck, it's like you have to like, I can't say the same shit that I used to would have said like 5 years ago.
Yeah, and also it's two things, right? It's like, one, I can't be as candid as maybe I used to be or sometimes want to be. Like I think maybe like I even have self-consciousness about being like upset about the Katy Perry album because
I'm gonna run into these.
Because a couple things. One, I'm in a position now where like I could like potentially run into, not if not her, then someone that worked on it. But two, I also understand more how that the business is tough and it's hard. And I also think that you don't always get to stand by the thing you put out because it's been noted to death. It's like, so people like, for example, like the Lord of it all with solar power, people went after her and been like, she flopped, like this is not what we wanted. Power. And the thing is, it's like, what happened was she tried something a little bit different and that people didn't like latch onto it right away or whatever. But then she had to like completely like regroup or whatever. And it's just like, I think about it in two different ways. One, I don't want to hurt people's feelings. And 2, I get that it's not always like, this is what I really stand by in the mainstream sense, and it's out there for you, and everything about this is something that I'm ready for you to critique as the artist. It's like, you make a lot of concessions. You don't always get to have full autonomy over what you've done. So I don't want to go on the podcast and like rip someone to shreds when I know a lot of people listen. Of course, there's always being funny, and there's always, being light about things and keeping it to a conversational place. Like I'll be a mess sometimes. I'll say what I think. That's the podcast. But I think that sometimes there's a desire or a need from some people that have been listening to us for a long time for us to be like cunty about stuff or, make big statements about things. And it's like, it's not really worth it, because I have like a perspective on the way artists feel now about when they put something out there and it gets torn up or disrespected or not supported, especially by the queer community. Like I was a part of that show Q Force on Netflix.
Yeah.
I wrote for it and voiced one of the characters. And there was a trailer that they put out, which was a bad trailer. I mean, it's made the show seem a little bit girl boss, like gays are here to stay, etc. It was just a little dated, and you could tell it was like just not the right people at Netflix marketing, I think, putting it together, because it was a cool show, and I think people that actually watched it saw that. But when we put out that trailer, the queer community was so, they kept saying, and it almost felt like bots were saying it, like, this made me homophobic, or like, they kept saying that same language.
Yes.
And I'm gay, or I'm queer, and this made me homophobic. And I was just like, it's interesting. Like, I now would really have a new sensitivity around someone else's work going out there because I've had this experience. And a lot of people might be like, oh, it finally happened to you and now you're sensitive. And I'd be like, yeah, I guess so. Like, I would hope that the more we all mature and grow older and become more accustomed to dealing with what it can be like sometimes, that we all get more sensitive, or at least more thoughtful about the ways in which we speak candidly about art, or even do comedy about art.
Yes, it's so true. Okay, wait, but speaking of Pride, it's Tony season.
Oh, yes.
Do you care?
I do care.
Oh yeah, duh, you care.
I care.
We have been talking a lot on the Monday Edit. That's like me and Chris's Las Culturistas, our senior producer. We like, it's not, but it's like our like bestie, like behind the scene, like time where we talk about our lives.
Yes.
Who do you think's gonna win?
So my number one is, I believe that Cola Scola should be taking home Tonys. I mean, I think that like,
but I feel like that goes without saying. Like, Cole's gonna win.
Goes without saying. I do feel like that is where it's headed, and I'm just so proud of them because they've been my hero, my comedic hero since I can remember. I mean, Bowen and I like always looked up to Cole, even when we were like baby gays doing comedy. Like, Cole was always the one.
Yes,
and so it's just really the best to see it happening to the person that deserves it, because no one deserves it more.
Yeah.
Because Cole's truly brand new, and Oh Mary's so fucking funny. It's so goddamn unique. Stupid. Like, it's so unique. Like, it's just, it's them following every instinct they've ever had, and also using all their powers in the best way. And it's like, it's inspiring. Like, to use a word that oft gets used, but it genuinely is, because it's truly their DNA from when I met them years ago. And they couldn't be a cooler, better person. So that, I also saw the play, John Proctor is the villain. You gotta go to this.
Okay, tell me about it.
So it's about, what's your hesitation?
I just like really want to know who you think's gonna win for outstanding lead actress in a musical.
Oh, that's what you want to know. Okay, well then like
you tell me all this other stuff.
I'm gonna bravely say who I think.
Yeah,
Nicole.
Okay, it's like a pretty big departure from, I'm not over the hat. So I'm not ready for her to win it.
So I understand the hat, but I also think, like, if we're to award the best performance and the most iconic performance, yeah, I think there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that her standing there covered in blood at the end of Sunset Boulevard is the most iconic image of the Tony season. And I think her performance is the one that people will be talking about. All respect to Audra, who's fucking tearing it up.
I mean, because I saw that.
Yeah.
I didn't see, because after the whole hat thing, ew, Nicole. And then I did see Audra when they were still in, what's that called when you're like testing?
Previews.
Thank you. And I got the chills. I laughed. I cried. I was like, oh my God. I mean, I will say that it was a little bit of a snooze fest when Audra wasn't there. But when Audra was there, so major.
Did you see Death Becomes Her?
Yes.
Good.
And I also think that, which loved. And I also, if I'm really thinking about it, maybe, and then I heard about the Betty Boop thing, which sounds fun.
That too.
And now people are saying, well, I guess Chris told me that on an episode of the Monday Edit.
That she could win.
Yes.
We want to know why? It's the vote splitting. I think people...
It's an Abraham Lincoln, because Abraham Lincoln went from a vote split.
100, and thank God.
Yeah, thank God, because it could have been someone else.
And then we have O'Mary. So think about that. A vote splitting led to O'Mary, which is Cole's win, and now we're going to have a...
That is literally the TikTok. You know that butterfly effect thing on TikTok?
You know who's going to be the next president? Jasmine Amy Rogers, a.k.a. Boop. Just kidding. I don't think she has presidential aspirations. Is that going to be what happens?
No,
but here's the thing. Here's what's going to happen for real. People are going to not be able to decide between either this. There's two scenarios. Ready? So there's Nicole and Audra, and the whole conversation all season, even longer than that season.
Yeah, because that's what we've been saying.
Way back,
those two,
has been, I can't pick between them. So they may just decide to not pick between them. Then they look at Death Becomes Her.
Which is amazing.
They might say, I can't pick between them. You know who's fucking great? This girl, Boop. I might just vote for her. So then enough people may feel I don't want to make the decision between Nicole and Audra, and I vote for Jasmine Amy Rogers because also I can't pick between Miss Megan and Miss Jennifer, and she wins it. Or Audra, who genuinely is that brilliant, and her acting during Rose's turn is that brilliant, fully just wins in a landslide because what she also has on her side is a lot of the community is still grieving Gavin Creel. And I think that one of the reasons why she even did this in the first place was because Gavin Creel always told her she should play Mama Rose. And now he's passed, and I don't think people really realize what a huge hole that is in the community and how many people want to commemorate him. And I think that she could win actually in a pretty decisive landslide because Audra has won 6 times. The Tony voting community is very small. It's only 700 people.
2 major follow-ups for this.
Okay.
3 actually. 1, I'm obsessed with you. Like I already knew that I was, but it hurts.
We're right here.
It really hurts. And 2, you're basically like a cuter gay Jim Kornacki of Tonys. You know what I'm saying? Like you literally just like give me like an electoral college breakdown of like what could happen.
I love that.
That was really good.
That's why I exist on the planet, I think.
That was really good. And then also I just was gonna, the follow-up of it really was like, it'll be interesting to see how far right the pendulum is swung in Tonyland. Mm-hmm. Because if Nicole does win, that means that like we are really Republican now.
Okay, but can I say this?
Yeah.
She also, I believe, gives the best performance. So there's that too. I mean, I think that people can vote and have voted for these things for all different kinds of reasons. If it's about what is most impactful on stage, she should win based on that. I totally agree with you. People should be emboldened to vote however they want. I don't necessarily think people are going in now, especially months later, being like, I'm a Republican, so I'm voting for her.
I cannot wait to see what happens.
Me neither. It's a gag.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, I've seen it 3 times. This is also before the hat because I didn't want to go again. I felt a little bummed out about it, to say the least. Like, I agree with everyone. It was fucking crazy. But the production is fucking insane.
Yeah, that's what everyone says.
It's fucking insane.
Maybe it'll win like best musical.
The revival, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, but revival, you're
because you know what else I saw was the maybe happy ending.
Which I didn't see.
So good.
And that's a revival too?
It's new.
Okay, that's
It's with Darren Criss, who I ran into at Barry's. And he comes over and is like, I'm such a fan. And I'm like, what? I don't know how, if people know me or not. So I get shy and don't say hi. I don't want people to think I'm being a bitch. It's just that I don't assume anyone knows who I am.
Well, you're going to have to start to assume this.
Maybe at some point, I don't know, because Bowen I'm with all the time, and it's easy when I'm with him because everyone knows him and everyone wants to come over and say hi to Bowen because he's delightful and the best and truly famous. But I feel like I don't know where I exist in that. Like, and so sometimes I feel like I think hang
you're
back.
Famous.
Maybe like gay famous for sure. Like when I go to a gay bar now, it is like a different thing. Like I'm like, okay, people know me here or whatever. And with what I call the Katies, which are 25 to 37-year-old women who have a communications degree and like that, their name is Katie.
They got a big platform though. I mean, it's going to keep spreading, girl.
I think things have definitely changed in the past year and a half, but it's only because things like Darren Criss comes up at Barry's and it's like, please come see my show. I love you. And I'm like, okay, gag. And then I'm like, I never would have thought that would happen because it wouldn't have happened.
Okay, now what I'd like to do is a segment that no one ever planned for, but I think it'd be really fun. And then we're going to do Las Culturistas Awards and wrap out.
Okay.
Oh, well, I guess we should talk about Pride really quick. One of my favorite Pride stories.
Are you gonna ask me what does Pride mean to you? I'll leave.
No. If I have to fucking fill this out for one more person, I'm gonna fucking scream. But this is one of my favorite Pride stories. I was on this panel and there was like 4 of us, and the question was like, who is like your biggest like Pride inspiration? And without skipping a beat, my neurodivergence was like Rudy Galindo, 1996 men's figure skating national champion, which he really is a queer icon. He won nationals in 96, HIV positive and out in 1996 about living with HIV, out of the fucking closet. Then he goes on to win the bronze medal at Worlds that year. I think he made the Olympic team in Nagano in 98 as well. But major. So like, this is very cool. But then every subsequent person after that on the panel, like the next person was like Marsha P. Johnson. And then the next person was like Harvey Milk.
Totally.
And then the next, like it was just like really well known, like very big queer heroes.
Your answer was also great.
But in the audience, like, because it was very clear that like everyone was like, the fuck? Like, why did you say, like, it was one of those where like everyone was like, huh? Like no one.
Because that was your answer.
Yeah.
I think Marsha P. Johnson is the Pride icon. You know
She
what
is
I mean?
the Pride icon.
But you gave an answer that was specific to you.
I love Rudy Galindo.
Yeah.
I want to have him on the pod sometimes.
You should,
He's still around. He's still doing the damn thing. He's a figure skating coach in San Jose.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
Yeah.
Like we were, it's funny you bring that up. Like sometimes I'm really caught off guard by like things I didn't realize were important to me. Like I remember we were promoting Fire Island a couple of years ago when it came out. It came out in the summer. It came out June 2022.
Yes.
And
I remember.
We were doing press for it. And I remember feeling so emotional the whole time. And for many reasons, like doing that movie was like, I'm so proud of it, but it was like an emotional mixed bag because we put a lot of ourselves into it.
Yeah.
And because we were all so like exposed in it in many different ways. And obviously like when you're with a bunch of gays, like things happen anyway. So I remember we were asked that question like about something. And I remember I said Pedro Zamora because I remember the real world and like, you know, how brave he was to share that story, especially then. And that, you know, he had passed shortly thereafter, died of AIDS, obviously. But I started to get really emotional as I was saying it. And I didn't realize that that's how I felt about it. But I think that this time is like a really, it's, you know, it brings up a lot that we don't know we're storing.
Yes.
And so that's what you exposed in that moment. You were like, you know, it was this person that ultimately was one of the cultures that made you say culture was for you. It was like, you know, the sport that you really enjoyed and then they were visible there.
Yes.
And I don't know what it was, but like, I just really felt the need in that moment to like say Pedro. I don't know why, but those things just like sometimes come up and surprise you.
This is okay. I'm not going to let my ADHD win. Like in our lifetime, and still people are dying of AIDS all around the world, and much like in some places bigger numbers, some places smaller numbers. But to understand that like in our lifetime, like in the United States, it was like, I think 800,000 people died. Yeah. Like that's a lot. And we really have, it's not that far for you to, I mean, it's still a really serious illness. We got to like
incredibly recent
take it seriously.
Yeah.
And we've come such a far way. And then I also was thinking, this is like non sequitur but kind of sequitur. When I think about like as a little kid, what like where HIV treatment was, what people were going through at the time, and like what I remember hearing people talk about. And then this is like, so I'll see if you can follow me here because it's not Pride related at all.
It's fine.
Which is fine.
I am feel so seen by the way that you have a conversation.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, but I don't want to play that game anymore. This is the game that I do want to play. It's kind of like, okay, because I'm so inspired by like with Las Culturistas, like the culture that made you realize that culture was for you. Mm-hmm. So I thought it'd be fun because we're millennials and we're queer. And it just came to me. I just keep thinking about all these movies that like were the things that, so I think that we should just like say things that made us realize that culture was for us back and forth, rapid fire for like an amount of time until it stops being fun.
Let's fucking go.
Okay. Panic Room.
Clueless.
Enough.
American Idol.
Oh, American Idol. America's Next Top Model.
Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy.
Batman Forever. Nicole Kidman. Veronica Lake hair on the VHS.
Yes.
Chris O'Donnell's nipples on the Batman and Robin cover.
Justin Timberlake's pubic vein on the cover of Rolling Stone in 2002 that I shoplifted from Blockbuster.
Chad Michael Murray's red appetizer plate nipples. Gag.
Pretty Woman.
My best friend's wedding. Like her hair. When the scene when they go under the bridge and he goes, when you love someone, you say it. right then, out loud. Otherwise, the moment just passes you by. And then the moment passes them by.
Because also the Pelican Brief.
Else, period.
And Moulin Rouge, not her though, obviously, because she wasn't in Moulin Rouge.
Well, Moulin Rouge was a moment. That was one of the most important moments in pop culture history, Moulin Rouge.
Do you know that was my favorite movie until Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Is that now your favorite movie?
It is.
I
didn't mean for it to.
I have spontaneously burst out into tears in the past 5 years twice. Kiwa Kwan saying, "You have to be kind." Like when he did that, I literally all of a sudden just burst into tears. And then it happened recently too. When did I burst into tears? Oh. White Lotus, Carrie Coon's monologue. Bitch. I couldn't believe what was happening when she was like, "I don't have a belief system." Well, I've had a lot of them, but like I was just like, and then she's walking through it. Time gives it meaning. Like I was just like, oh my God, this vulnerability she's having with her friends right now. I could. I told you I'm a triple water, so I'll cry the entire way home. It's 10 minutes.
Okay, let's go back to the 90s, or early aughts. I really liked that game. But wait,
that was such a good game.
That was right. Just like, because it also caught a little like association-y too.
It did get association-y. And then you know what's happened? Like halfway through, I was like, oh, should I have been doing association? But that's just the gay millennial beating myself up that I wasn't doing it right.
I have another one.
Go.
American Gladiators, because that's when I really knew that I was like super duper gay.
You know what? You know what was kind of queer culture, and it hurts me that Joe Rogan has become what he's become. But
Fear Factor. Yeah, he was hot.
Yeah, I used to.
I would still let him. Like,
would you? I don't know about now.
If I saw him if I saw him like in a sauna and like it was like his physical form in a sauna and it was like just us, like
in terms of what he looks like.
I love like a roided out like 60-year-old or 50-year-old. Like I love like a old man on HRT.
Yeah,
that is so my fucking arousal template. Like even to the point that like RFK Jr. up until he swam in the shit.
Yeah,
like now I feel like
stop it, girl.
Yeah, up until he swam in that like shit lake.
You thought he had beautiful eyes.
Well, no, I would have like jerked off with him like in private somewhere.
Sure, I guess.
Like, just like his physical form.
I understand that. No,
yeah.
Does your type change over time? Obviously, like...
I've just have like always had just like a thing for like roided out fucking old daddies.
So...
And like principal
that's
types.
Me with like... Sorry if this is harmful to say, but Guido types. Like when I grew up on Long Island, like... It was all about that Jersey
like a
Shore
metal,
aesthetic.
like a gold chain is really like
literally like, you know what I loved? Like a really tan guy in like a white tank.
It's like Pauly D really like did it for you.
And what was really
that tribal tattoo.
Kicker, the tribal tattoo around the bicep. When I was little was like, I can't wait to get that. Never got it.
I love you so much. Okay, Las Culturistas, Culture Awards.
Yes.
Let's talk about Las Culturistas Culture Awards because they become like the Met Gala for the extremely online. They have, and now they are being televised for the first time on Peacock and Bravo later this summer.
Yep.
Where can we watch? Where can we tune in? And are you and Bowen the only voters?
So
is Ernst & Young going to be counting?
I can confirm that we are the deciding factors. I can also confirm it doesn't matter at all. Like, trust me, it couldn't be dumber. Like,
has it been filmed yet?
No, we're filming it July 17th in LA, and it's going to air on Bravo August 5th.
July 17th. I think I might be. Okay.
If you're in LA, let me know.
Well, I was going to say this.
Okay.
If I want to pitch myself as like some sort of Vanna White.
Okay.
Like can I be like one of those girls in a dress that like gets to like give you the envelope, even if it's just once? Like what if there was like a what's that word? Like a stable. Like there's like 12 like dressed ladies.
Let's be in conversation.
I just think that's like, because you know like how there's always the ladies.
There's always the ladies.
I've always wanted to be a flower girl, which I got to do at my friend's wedding last year, but I have not yet to get to do like, I think those like presenting sort of like silent dress.
I think it's one of the coolest things you could ever be. I'm actually presenting my first award at the Gotham TV Awards, and I love that for me. But the pomp and circumstance of the award show is something that not only I think is so funny, and B, I've been obsessed with since I was little, but it's also like something that I don't feel we're making fun of enough. And don't you think that like it feels like the award season gets longer and longer and longer and longer, to the point where it's like when Demi Moore lost her Oscar, I actually was there because Bowen was presenting. He took me as his date. And it just kind of felt like I was happy for Mikey Madison. I loved Denora.
I was sad for Demi.
But I was like sad for Demi because like my thing is like, even if she wasn't going to win the award ultimately, which, you know, Mikey won it, it's just such a long, arduous, like, campaign. It's
And the
literally
odds
a
were in
campaign.
her favor, so to lose
And they
it
make
was
you feel like it's yours, and then you show up and it's so much, and it's the narrative has been such a thing, and then you get there and you lose, and it's like there's a camera in your face, and then you realize like, oh, did I care about that in the first place? And if I did, like, was I supposed to care that much? It's just a whole mind fuck. So I'm like, you know what? Let's take the piss out of these award shows.
Yes.
And so that's what we've been trying to do for the past couple of years. And it's going to be televised. And I have to say, yes, we are the deciding factors, but this is so fucking stupid. Every element of it is going to be so dumb. And that's what we need.
Is it like fast forwards in 30 years and you're like actually the new Oscars?
Yeah, and literally
Like
take
the-
its place. And I have no sense of humor. I'm 2 minutes away from having no sense of humor.
I will say that I feel like we have to wrap out, but I do feel like Demi, who I think you just taught me that I've been saying her name wrong my whole life. It's really great.
Well, I found out because I said it to her.
Okay, great. So Demi, great. Thank you. I'm so glad that I know that now. So
Yeah.
what an experience.
Demi Moore.
I feel like she really handled that though so well.
She's
and she really
class
gave it the
act.
Michelle Kwan treatment, because when Michelle won silver in 98 to Tara Lipinski, she was so classy. And Jay Leno tried to say to her, like, what was it like to lose the gold? And she said, I didn't lose gold. I won silver. And she was so iconic and no one's ever been classier. I love her so much. She's just like so major and I love her so much. Okay, wait. Last question. What does it mean to celebrate culture with joy, camp, and seriousness at the same time, especially now?
You know what? I've been thinking a lot about this because as things get darker and darker and darker, it's a little odd sometimes to feel like things are going well for me, or like I'm having these kinds of experiences that I've always dreamed about. And the podcast is exposing me to so many joys. And, you know, it's a place where people come to feel joy, but sometimes it can be hard to, and I'm sure you understand this, like be effusive all the time. But what I will say is that I do feel like I found like a little purpose for myself, and that's to leave places better than when I found them, and to just be little bursts of positive energy when I can. And so that's what I try and do, is I just try and do my job, which is to make people feel happy or make people maybe see things a different way just based on being myself. And I think that's all you really can do. And so my thing that I'm trying to do is to not feel bad about finding joy in things, is to try and spread that when I can, but also take a little bit of time for myself to be informed about what's happening without feeling super overwhelmed. Like now more than ever, sorry to say that phrase, but you got to find the balance, because if you get weighed down in everything, you're going to forget what to fight for.
We have been talking about that. That resonates so hard, because it's like if you're miserable, then you're not like happy, more joyful people are more likely to want to help and want to be involved and informed. And if you're just like totally devastated and miserable and overwhelmed, you're not going to want to be fighting or doing the right things anyway.
Yeah, you got to surround yourself with people that bring you up and that, you know, are there in a real tangible way, because I just think, you know, the world is doing it for us in terms of the negativity. You know what I'm saying? Is it's like, it's coming at us from all angles. You know, there's a sick war in the Middle East. There is obviously our president like driving us into the depths in kind of every regard and getting away with it. And there is, you know, so many like elements of life on the day-to-day that can feel really overwhelming. I mean, like, it's so funny that one of the things we don't even talk about anymore is gun rights in this country, because it feels like there's so many other things to talk about, but like, I'm still so upset about it. You know what I mean? Like the climate, I'm so upset about. Like the world is doing it for us.
Yeah.
So in our little community and in our little day-to-day, like, of course you should like
We get to
seek
experience
out
some
things.
joy.
And like if you're someone that has the opportunity to reflect that back at people, you should.
Yeah.
You should. Like, I feel like it's actually not a responsibility, but it's an opportunity, right?
Yes.
Like, I think it's not a bad thing to be like, hey, but here's some good stuff. Like, here's a joke.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Laugh a
here's
little.
laughter. Here's a way we can take ourselves not so fucking seriously.
And then you can get back in the fight. You guys,
Yeah.
Las Culturistas, listen to it every day. Are you guys on video? You guys are all also.
We have been on video when we're with guests. We have videos. But you know, the girls have been telling us they want some more Matt and Bowen time. So I think for the next few months, it's just going to be us until like, I don't know, someone like Sarah Jessica Parker wants to be on.
Okay, so listen, watch, and also Las Culturistas Awards. Watch those. When do they come out on?
They're out on August 5th on Bravo and the next day on Peacock.
Well, we just said, watch the shows, watch people that you support. We love it so much. Matt, thank you so much for coming on. We love you so much. You're
I love you
amazing.
back. This is so fun.
Love you guys.